Hello and welcome to a very special edition of Talk Therapy brought to you by Driveway Devi. I'm Karthik on behalf of Driveway Devi. Now, some of you may know that of late, on a number of instances during my reels or during my writing, or for that matter, in our conversations, I keep making references to how old I've begun to feel, particularly vis-a-vis my daughter. Sometimes I wish I'd had her when I was a decade younger and I can barely keep up with her, things of that nature. And then recently, I came across this remarkable lady who came across as a picture, an embodiment of vitality and verve. And I felt really, really stupid first at myself, and then subsequently very envious of her, and then finally extremely, extremely happy to see this individual. So I think you can say I went through the stages of grief. Um, so the guest who's joining me today is a lady by the name of Anupama Bajaj. Those resident and local to Jaipur will know her because she's sort of out there, and she's been here pretty much her entire life. Um, and what really, really genuinely makes her special and this interaction very important and special is that, in each of our lives as human beings, there are certain pivotal milestone moments that come along, certain crossroads that dramatically alter life as we've known it until that point. It's different for different people. For me, I suppose the first time it came about was when I landed up in boarding school in grade six. Then, many years later, when I went abroad to study, later still when I got married, so on and so forth. And Anupama happens to be at a stage where many people reach that stage, I suppose, more so in the Indian construct, because culturally, we don't necessarily throw our kids out the moment they turn technically adult. And so therefore, in a lot of cases, they grossly overstay their welcome. Uh, she is at that very, very crucial stage of having become an empty nester, and that's where it makes it so special, because unlike many other scenarios where I suppose there would be a huge, almost identity crisis, particularly for women. I mean, let's face it, that is sort of the defining purpose of their lives for most of their lives, is to care for the family, bring up the children, and things of that nature. She seems to have completely jumped into this new stage and phase of her life with all her senses open, ready to receive, learn, evolve, grow, embrace an array of pursuits. I'm not sure, perhaps some that were lurking within, some entirely new. Um, so that is really what we hope to focus on. But the way one sees her now isn't, it's not all sort of peaches and cream, because obviously it has come about as a consequence of a certain uncomfortable journey. And those are the sort of things that we wish to delve into. We are calling this a mindful transition. And I'm very, very grateful that despite her extremely busy schedule, Anupama is joining us. A very warm welcome to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Karthik. That was so much of self, realization that was happening, that what all has come across in life. And it was like I'm talking to myself in the mirror, and suddenly somebody is talking so highly of me. That's not me. That's not the way I talk about myself. But I think that's the true reflection. I have my own pivotal points, like you said. um, the same journey, I joined a hostel in grade 3, even younger, but that really made my personality. I'm so glad to be with Driveway Devi to discuss and maybe throw some light into the issues that many others are facing, like I am, and how I'm trying to overcome them. If we can
Absolutely.
bring about a little change in anybody, it will be really nice. Thank you
Absolutely.
so much for having me
Not
here.
at all. It is my genuinely my pleasure entirely. And so, before we get into the murky bit of it, I always ask my guest to say a little bit about themselves in their own words.
Uh, so yes, there's lots about me. I am a self obsessed person now, I can say.
About time.
Love everybody. Everybody's talking about self love, and I'm self obsessed, I would say. But yes, I've had my journey, um, from studying in a boarding school, then a boarding college, and all girls, never exposed to boys. The other gender was so difficult to deal with. And then marriage happened, and a joint family, coming from a very progressive parents' side into a very conservative family in Jaipur, Rajasthan. But taught, like every other girl was, that you have to fit in like a jigsaw puzzle. You have to be the one who makes their place there. And thankfully, or whatever, I managed to fit in well, although at times I think I was the black sheep of the family, because I've always been a rebel in school, breaking rules. That's me, but there I had tamed the lion somehow. And eventually that lion got loose. The true Anupama just jumped out from where she was caged, I would say. And that cage was a cage that I built for myself, and something I allowed everybody to do it, So it's only when this fact is so deep uh, rooted, that make others happy, keep everybody happy. In that journey, I lost the way to make myself happy. And when I realized, then I broke it all. And here I am.
Well,
Yeah.
obviously it is not possible to encapsulate a human being in a few sentences, but you've
Yes.
done it quite effectively, if I may say so myself, as a communications expert, allegedly. But
Uh,
I do have a couple of sincere and serious thoughts. One is that
okay.
it is society that makes us perceive anything that sort of even remotely goes against established status quo as negative, things such as rebel, black sheep, because really the flip side of the coin is, pioneer, path breaker, and that is really what it is. And I'm not prone to flattery. Um, Number one, I always tell people, and women especially, who and this whole thing you spoke of the constant guilt and the inherited duties and responsibilities, which really are not desired, they're just thrust upon most women. You are not, unfortunately, part of a minority, because an overwhelming majority of women find themselves in these situations where their entire existence is in the service of something or someone else at different stages of life. There was recently a very sad thing I read, or I was watching something where there were these young girls, probably of your daughter's age, who were reflecting on their mother. And they said, we were sort of sitting and thinking about everybody in the family and their favorite foods. And they couldn't for the life of them remember their mother's favorite dish because it was never brought up. So, it's just one a sort of tiny but very significant manifestation of this complete and utter dilution and then just extinction of what used to be that individual once upon a time. And to seek that person out and to reacquaint and then reinvent, it requires immense courage, but it's so important, and I'm so glad that you are in the process of doing that. Now, in that process, before I ask you about how it came about, uh, what are some of the things that you're currently doing? I know that you're a very good and keen chef and cook. What else?
So I'm also an educator. I'm teaching public speaking and theater to students in a school. It's a weekly project, and I'm tied up with them for the calendar year of 25, 26. And these children are not from a very high class society. They're coming from the mediocre, and they are so keen to learn. That's the difference that I'm seeing there. And I really want to do whatever in my best capacity to make them better individuals, because soft skills are the demand of the day. And besides that, I'm engaged with uh, uh, a project with a refugee camp in Kenya. It's an online spoken English class which I'm taking every week with these refugees who are from Sudan. And this is done with an NGO. It's called Generations Aid. And it's really sad, but today at this point, I would be in the session, but there has been some unrest there and there has been some shootouts because of which
Mhm.
the class was cancelled. But
Wow.
the
Yeah, but
show must go on. So here we are to whatever way spread the joy. And I do take up stand-up comedy sessions wherever I can,
hmm.
because humor to me nicely and I can deliver it well. And dancing is my passion. I just need the music on, and that's enough. Nothing more is needed. And yeah, I'm a self-learned decoupage artist.
Wow.
I did decoupage. That's a French art, and I in fact took it up commercially at one point. And yeah, it's there. It still remains in my heart, and whenever I feel the need, I create something. So uh, because of the online stuff, there's been a lot. So the public speaking also, I took up an online class, and then I mastered it to teach it across. And theater has been my passion from childhood. So yeah, feeding that by.
Unbelievable, unbelievable. And I know for a fact that we haven't covered it all because I also know that you're a very, very convincing and effective apparel model.
Oh yes,
See, now you can't
that's the
remember
new
your own
feather in the cap.
talents.
That's the new feather in the cap.
Yeah,
With the gray
amazing.
and curves, I've been chosen to carry go around with their apparels. And yes, I even got my mom to do some modeling for them. And
Wow.
she was so happy that at the age of 80, she's in front of the camera and she's modeling. So yeah, that's the new thing. I'm so sorry, I forgot.
It's really, really remarkable. Now, on a perfectly sincere note, when did this entire sort of when did it start to occur to you that, okay, fine, I'm heading towards this place where I will suddenly find myself with significant responsibilities off of my hands? And did you start kind of thinking about it in the lead up to it happening or after the children left? I just want to understand a little bit.
So while the children were there, I was investing in myself by learning things online. So it's not like it just cropped up after they left. the foundation was already happening. While they were doing their study, I was doing mine. It was like that. I believe there is no age to learning.
Most
Every day is
definitely.
a learning. So whatever avenue I got, I grabbed it to become something or the other. So once I used my time constructively like that, when they left, there was so much silence, like I said in the introductory thing as well, that that silence was louder than noise, and I couldn't bear it. I started then applying all what that I had learned in using my time so that I could be happy at the end of the day. And I had an agenda for the next day. But there are many days, even now, with all what I have just said, that there is no agenda for the day. And it really kills me, that I don't want to sit and just watch Netflix or scroll, but I'm left to do that at times. Uh, it's okay, but yeah,
Now,
there are times.
yeah, because we are a platform and an organization chiefly concerned with mental wellness and mental state. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper, not because I'm trying to be sensationalist and not because I want you to obviously not breach any personal boundaries or privacy that you don't wish to, but we've sort of glossed over this. Thing of there are still unpleasant days, let's say. I would love it if you shared in your case a little more detail, and I'll tell you what I mean. I want to try and have a more intimate understanding of what you experience. Is it primarily loneliness? Is it other things? Is it a combination?
It's a combination of many, Karthik. I have lost people, very important people in my life, that really put an impact into my mental health, and having a little difficult relationship issue, and then the children going away, obviously the loneliness that creeped in. So there were multiple things, and then the COVID times, that was really challenging again. So I did go for mental therapy, and I realized that it works. It helps you sort your own thoughts. Like, you are still just thinking, and you're thinking aloud. So when that's how my therapy worked for me, and I'm open to it even now. If there is a problem, I don't think I should shy away from it. they, Everybody has their ups and downs, and like, we go to a doctor for an illness, like if not for fever, we'll pop a paracetamol, but for a little severe, we do take consultancy. It's similar, and it does help, rather than just delaying it and letting it make you feel worse about yourself. So those have been my
I'm
problems.
curious only because the entire COVID pandemic and the lockdown years was so strange, even if all other factors remained largely okay in
Correct,
in individuals' lives. That in
correct.
itself was such an unprecedented and strange period to have to navigate, and it had various kinds of impact and manifestations on different people. During that time, had the girls left already?
So that was a blessing in disguise for me, that they were both in the nest, and I was thoroughly enjoying it. I know there was a chaos happening outside, but somewhere inside, I was so happy that they are back. I was just being selfish. And yeah, that was a difficult phase, but at the same time, the nest was full, so I was happy.
It's absolutely wonderful to see that you are populating and engaging your time and your mind and your faculties with so many activities and pursuits. Having said that, outside of keeping oneself gainfully engaged in terms of time and mental faculties, there is also a set of other concerns that every human being is bound to sort of ponder. What might be some of those once one is sort of getting on in life, and you know that the kids have gone away, unlikely to return to at least live permanently in that, particularly in that tier 2 city, that such is how contemporary life is constructed. What might be some other concerns that
So,
cross your mind?
yeah, my concern is that I'm gradually getting older, and I don't want to be dependent on my children in such a way that I have to tie them down. I don't want that.
Hmm.
I I know that the body will age, the mind may not, the heart may not, your but the body will become frail, and I will need the assistance. But I don't want to tie them down for my care. I I'm really looking at how um, aging can be more uh, independent rather than being dependent. So to have a setup in such a way where there is help that can be outsourced, and that makes gives them their private space there so that they can take their lives forward and not be so worried and engaged in my life that they don't have time to proceed with this. So if not today, but that period, that time is going to come definitely sooner or later. Yeah. And in the Indian system, for some reasons, it's a taboo that your parents are not with you, and uh, it kills you. It's like a guilt, biggest guilt. Bollywood has really blown it up um, with all the devotion and things like that, as if just by service the devotion happens. I don't think so. My girl is sitting all the way far away in Assam and one in Bangalore, and the way they are assisting me even today when I'm in Jaipur. So when the world has come so close, like you can just do anything for anybody more easily than those days. So those days were the times when you really needed everybody to be physically around you. But nowadays, there are so many aids available with the help of which life can be kept well, independent, free, assisted. So why not plan accordingly? My concern is really
Before I we get into what those options may be, I do have two observations I'd like to share. One is that culturally, unfortunately, and it's I've heard so many couples literally say it in so many words that one brings up and provides one's children a certain type of infrastructure, opportunity, and upbringing so that there is reciprocity, and we are
no.
sort of sorted out in our winter of life, etc. That is one. And number two, we also, I think, sometimes fail to factor in the very real fact that it's not as if the child or the children who've relocated to these new places in new roles, etc., are having some party gala time. I mean, they have a very, very big real struggles themselves.
Oh, don't ask their struggles. They are much bigger than ours. I mean, we are at least accustomed to living in this setup. They are just hustling, like in their words, the hustle life that they are living. And in between that, if we put our baggage on them, I don't think it's justified. Although I do it many times.
No, but I think just the fact that you have that awareness and you're very modest, it's refreshing to see. What may be some of these ways of then navigating that stage of one's life? I wouldn't even, go so far as to say without being a burden on one's children, etc., but just in a sort of independent, dignified manner. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah. So, firstly, living the way you are living, individual bungalows, I feel is really difficult to manage, and then you are left by yourself. At least living in a society is even a better idea. so that there are flats close by, you're more connected with your neighbors. And thankfully, I'm in Jaipur where there is more social, it's not like those metro cities, you don't
Sure.
know your neighbor kind of show. And then in the previous times, there used to be communities like टेम्पल्स, मंदिर क्या होते थे, ऐसी जगह होती थी जहां बड़े बुजुर्ग जाते थे, दे यूज्ड टू स्पेंड आवर्स देयर एंड कम बैक. सो आई एम नॉट inclined spiritually. That's not my way of
Sure.
praying. I believe in God completely, but my definition of God and prayer is different.
Of
I
course.
don't need to be a temple. So that was their way of dealing with it. And my way of dealing with it is that I'm going to a jam session where we have um, people from various ages and backgrounds. Somebody is a professional singer, somebody is an amateur, and we're just singing out loud for 2 hours non-stop, and I'm dancing. So that is bringing these things. And assisted living, there are societies that are particularly developed for senior living. They're equipped with those kind of facilities. They have the hospitals close by. So basically, save up for the heyday, like so that you can give yourself that service and not demand it or as a reciprocation from the children in whichever way. And there are many coming up in Jaipur as well, but I don't know many. I'm not restricted to being in Jaipur. I don't mind going partying to some other city and living elsewhere. But yes, it's nice to be around people whom you know. Uh, but my idea is to know one new person at least every day, so that your your vocabulary bank increases with the words you expose yourself to. Your community increases with every new person you. So
How
that's
wonderful. I
my,
mean,
I think those are the
that's a lovely, lovely outlook to have. And yes, of course, I think perhaps more than the infrastructure bit of it, which is most certainly on the rise, it's really a mindset shift where there is still a lot of guilt attached, and there's a lot of immediate judgment and labeling that is taking place. And hopefully, slowly but steadily, it
things
will.
are changing, Karthik. I must say things are changing. I know of many who have made the conscious choice
I know.
of
In fact, I was.
moving to
In
such.
fact, I was just going to share that my wife's one of her buas, who has been this very, very tall educationist her entire life, has been at the helm at this very sort of uh, legacy old school of Delhi called Gyan Bharati for the better part of 30 years. With her husband, who is retired after having been a corporate executive his whole life, having worked with Gillette, etc., are now at this beautiful community in Bhiwadi. And so it's an assisted living thing, and it's wonderful. It's we've been there several times, and a lot of people they know have also made the move, and that entire complex has various kinds of accommodation that it offers depending on one's requirements and one's finances and things like that. So, and more are coming up.
That's a beautiful idea. I have to explore that place.
Yeah, so I think that's definitely the case. But since we're talking about family, since we're talking about actually a whole lot of this is about social conditioning and the way society has gotten built up over time, I definitely want to get your perspective on the family system itself. But very quickly before that, um, it may be possible that in certain cases the couple the two individuals have very different ideas of how they see their later years sort of playing out. Do you think that can happen, and then you're in a bit of a jam?
No, it's okay. All our life we have given to children and family, but at a later stage, if For instance, my husband is very spiritual and he sees himself in Vrindavan for 15 days. So why not? I mean, he has his peace, his sanity, but we are together. I, we have a space here as well where we can come together, and it's about giving each one their space as well as individuality, not all the time merging into it, having your own personal likes and dislikes and honoring it for one another, respecting it is very important.
Again, that's a great answer because finally, I think after years and years where this sort of leeway, flexibility, freedom, liberty may not have been possible due to other factors. At least it should be the case now. Finally, then, let's talk a little bit about family because, again, we all know that, and I think a lot of us have been very privileged to have lived through those years and those generations where it was indeed a village that brought us up, and we were lost and in gay abandon amongst cousins and aunts and uncles and all of that. And now we've seem to have gone firmly the other end of the spectrum, where it's not even, nowadays my students, they say, sir, I live in a joint family because dada dadi live with us. So that's where we've reached. So how do you see this entire shift? Do you think a joint family these days is even relevant? What are your thoughts?
Again, being together yet having your own individual spaces is very important. It should not be like you are just trampling one another. You Joint family is a good idea, but at the same time you should have the freedom to do what you want to do, and that starts off from the small things like in the kitchen or whatever. So having your own setups is not a bad idea, absolutely a great idea to be together and yet have your own spaces. And in my times back then, it was like I'm 21 and my father was looking out for a match for me. And a girls' school student, I never found one for myself. So whatever dad found for me, that was the best option. And when I was asked, thankfully, that what do you think about the boy after meeting him for 1 hour, I said, on what grounds do I say yes or on what do I say no? It's you who's judged the family and done
Absolutely.
all the research. So kindly take the call.
Mm.
So it's not like this anymore. And I'm so glad that the children are making their choices.
Yeah.
Like, firstly, who is the right match for them and whether they want to take it forward to a level of marriage, which is a commitment for life. And that's what I feel about marriage, that it should be a commitment, then only jump into it. And if not, take your time. It's okay. It's not like my daughter said, is there an expiry date to marriage? Like, will I miss the bus if I don't get married now? I said, no. But if you have somebody, well and good. Otherwise, we'll find someone. So, पहले नहीं होता था ये. पहले तो they would just get you settled, in their words, settled.
Well,
That's
it's very interesting sociologically because while I have an intellectual understanding and appreciation for, really sort of thinking long and hard and doing certain amount of due diligence and actually deciding these things on very, very quantifiable, practical factors, when seeking a life partner. I think the romantic in me does from time to time become prone to a certain amount of madness and fuzzy logic because I almost think that these days love has become too strategic.
so, uh, love is in every small bit, Karthik. It's not about I love you. It's about every small thing, even the bottle of water that you'll keep on the bedside at night is defining love. So you can't be saying that you didn't say I love you. so you don't love me. There is everything has the love behind it.
I hear you loud and clear. Um,
And regarding
Wonderful. I mean,
families, I also feel that nowadays this generation is very apprehensive, firstly, about marriage. So, yes, I think we should give them the time to decide and only then plunge into it. Then they are very apprehensive about having children and a
mm,
family.
mm.
And I'm shameless and I will say that बच्चे करो तो अपने दम पे करना. I'm not that grandmother who will say नहीं हम पाल लेंगे तुम पैदा कर लो. भाई हम we will pamper them when our time comes, but they are going to be yours. If you are ready for it, then go for it. It's a beautiful experience. Only a parent understands what it is. Unless you become one, you don't. And science is advancing so much with the fertility, freezing your embryos or your eggs. My niece is an embryologist and she is doing this. So such options available, why not? Like don't get stuck that I'm not going to have children. It's an irreversible change. It's not like marriage doesn't have an expiry date, agreed, but having children does have an expiry date. So it's not because everybody's been having children you should have children, but maybe you will change your mind some other day. So why not prepare for it? Like you're preparing for every other thing, your travel, your savings, you're prepared. These children are so savvy with everything. They are making their money, they're saving it, they're partying. I think I'm born very early. I should have been born a little late.
It's again, it's very refreshing to hear that because generally, we fall into this again romantic trap and notion of saying, "Arey, hamari baat to kuch aur hi thi," and we are
अरे
very
नहीं.
quick to sort of dismiss younger generations. But I couldn't agree with you more. And in fact, there are also, I think, other factors now that ought to come into the consideration set for new stroke young couples who are contemplating embarking on a parental journey or not, because do you even want to bring yet another person on this planet, and all of those questions of environment and so on and so forth. In fact, a American playwright friend of mine wrote an award-winning play where it's just this couple who's having a 1.5 hour argument about whether to have a child or not. And they go through all these, peaks and valleys about at some point feeling, no, no, they must, and other points, it's beautiful. So I think it ought to be a very, very informed decision, which is seems to be the case more and more. I've always been saying, in any case, propagating on a lighter vein, that there should be a parenting exam. There should be an exam before people are
Alright,
allowed to become parents.
I'm on the same page. Like you need a driving license to drive a car. You should have a license to be a parent.
Huh, but you
I
shouldn't be
know
able to get it as easily as you can your driving license.
it happens in India, but yes, I'm sure that there should be an exam, and only if you clear that should you bring another life into this world,
Yeah,
because it
absolutely.
comes with a lot of responsibility. Yes, completely. And these children are so advanced, they are so informed that they are in a situation to make the right choices, and we should allow them. We should.
Hmm.
I trust them. Like it was till 18 that I was totally responsible. I felt that for whatever they were doing. But after 18 months, they flew out of the nest. Now it's them that they have to take care of themselves. I can just be the cushion that you can fall back on, and I'll do the best to absorb all the jerks or whatever that come your way. So we have to allow them to just go ahead. Allow sounds a little strange, but yes, we have to give them the liberty. Why not?
It's absolutely wonderful chatting with you. I don't even feel like we've done some formal session. It's just been like two people sitting in the living room and having a sort of heart to heart. I think that there's also a certain amount of kinship because these things that you said, no, that oh, black sheep, etc. I'm basically that in my family construct. And what I meant to tell you in our earlier conversation, which I completely forgot because I had so much else to tell you, is that in my limited observation, um, there is an unofficial golden triangle in India. The golden triangle that one hears of and refers to is, of course, the touristy one,
Yeah,
but
Jaipur comes in
it's
one of them.
the
Yeah.
actual one,
Yeah.
which in my view is Jaipur, Guwahati, Calcutta.
Acha,
Hmm.
that happened.
Yeah, that's been constructed by the Marwadi Samaj primarily. And
Jaipur comes in both the triangles,
Jaipur
basically.
comes in both the triangles. So yeah, I'm part of that isosceles somewhere. Like, it's like it's like a Bermuda Triangle. You get sucked in and then you can't get out.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, it's been lovely chatting. I hope selfishly to get to know you better off camera. But in the meantime, please, please keep doing all the absolutely wonderful things you do. It really genuinely inspires me to watch the things you're doing, the way you are. And it gives me immense hope and optimism. So, thank you very much for this chat,
Very
for
much.
being
And I'm
so
really glad.
candid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you for having me here. And I'm open to more conversation. My house is open with table tales for the meals that I'm curating. And it's lovely to have strangers walk in, but friends walk out of the house. So it's something I'm so glad I took up lately.
wonderful. I'm really happy. Take care. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.